I'm Austin Nicholas, the founder and CEO of GetFocused, a meeting software and training company that empowers you to conduct highly effective and engaging remote meetings. And it's our focused rhythm workshop. So let's train on focused rhythms during the next 20 minutes or so. Developing the 7 focused habits, which was our last workshop, is only part of the effective meeting solution. Understanding that different types of meetings, each with a different purpose or rhythm, will help your team spend their meetings more focused. And that is what we're wanting to unpack today. The human brain is not meant to process so many disparate subjects or goals in one meeting. And I think probably some of the people that are running highly ineffective and unfocused meetings are probably trying to cover too much in one meeting. We call it the sort of meeting stew, where you combine a sort of strategy meeting with a review meeting, and then you have a bit of planning, and then you have a bit of visionary, blue sky thinking. It all gets like a bit of a mess, like one of those soups that you make where you just put everything in from the fridge, and okay, it tastes all right, but you know it could have been better if you'd been a little bit more focused, defined, and followed the recipe or a structure. And that's what we're aiming to give you today. So, kind of routine sets you free. So by incorporating that within your tribe, it allows you to effectively manage this productivity whilst promoting this flexible remote work culture that we're all living in these times. And it gives you and your people the sense of freedom, belonging you envisage when starting the business. I'm a big believer that routine sets you free. It's what gives you the structure and the capabilities to really, really start hitting those goals that you set out to accomplish. And our 21-day program, or the Get Focused 21 program, empowers team leads to become focused team captains. I like to picture it a journey where the course is set with the help of sort of a number of lighthouses, and the lighthouses are spaced out in such a way that it could be the goal is to reach the next lighthouse within 21 days before turning the attention to the next lighthouse. And your job as a focused team captain is to help navigate your team to and from these lighthouses, understanding the needs and wants of all your team by giving that sense of purpose and direction until you finally arrive at your destination, to reveal the box of treasure, to hit that ambitious goal. And after celebrating this achievement, you then prepare to set off again with your team on your next journey of adventure and fulfillment. And essentially, yes, and by using these Get Focused meeting rhythms, we provide the framework, methodology, and technology to streamline meetings, to reduce the admin and increase levels of engagement. So continually, by using the product, you can record and share actions, you can rate the meeting, and you can review the insights to help ensure that everyone stays on the same page. They stay focused, motivated, and committed. So this is the breakdown, really, which we'll unpack a little bit further in this workshop, where this is the makeup of a 21-day focus sprint. You can tailor it and tweak it to your needs, but this is our recommended sprint platform, sprint overview. So the action plan meeting acts as the trigger where the ambitious goals are set, and then they cascade down. So in the brainstorm, you unpack them and unpack the key goals and objectives and brainstorm the tasks to do. And then the check-in is to update on those tasks and again help build trust. And then the decision making is to just sort of see how you're doing and become more accountable and to measure the progress. So let's start with the action plan. So this is day one of your 21-day sprint, and really the question you have here is, what do you want to do, or what do you want, and what do I want in the long term, and how can we continue to be a force to be reckoned with? So I think, yes, that's the overriding one, but then it's like a case of, okay, what do we need to focus on now to ensure that we really start getting that or achieving that ambitious goal? The time is we recommend minimum 45 minutes. You schedule it on day one. The focus is to clarify. And the topics, we review the strategy, industry needs, competitive landscape, and the key personal and the team development. And you identify 1 to 3 key goals for the company or team that can be set as the topics during this meeting itself, or during this goal, set as during this meeting itself for the next 21 days. They need to be ambitious and aspirational, but also time bound. So we suggest, yes, you break them down into 21 days, and this can be acting as the guiding lights, let's say the lighthouse to reach. And kind of what we do here is kind of you review, it allows you to sort of take a helicopter view and sort of really understand what specific actions you need to deliver on the plan to achieve this sort of longer term success. At this meeting, though, you do not have to overstructure or overburden the schedule. You're coming up with the key goals during the meeting. You might want to decide to sort of have this as a face-to-face meeting. But yeah, I think it's always you've always got to be sort of thinking the action plan is the kickstarter for the sprint. Brainstorm. So in some ways, yes, it's brainstorming, thinking of blue sky thinking, really brainstorming about evaluating more often not. So you might, during the action plan meeting, you might have had some ideas on how you can tackle it, but you've had that sleep time to address kind of whether that was a good idea or not. You can build on some of those ideas during this day 2 brainstorm. But really what you're aiming to do here is what problems and challenges do we need to deal with, and how can we deal with them to ensure our long-term success. So you're making what the key results or the tasks that set during the action plan meeting can be used as the key topics for this meeting. And then you can share and evaluate ideas on how best to accomplish that key goal accordingly. Time minimum, again, 45 minutes. It's set on day 2, and it's the player focus is to create. So you're creating and evaluating. Topics you discuss, you analyse, you brainstorm, you decide upon the critical issues affecting the long-term success. And the outcome is kind of breaking down or cascading the key result or the key goal into 3 to 5 set of subtasks to hit the desired result. Again, you then need to ensure, if we remember the 7th habit, to delegate accordingly. Take ownership, take accountability of what needs to be done by whom to hit with those tasks. Limit the meeting. So when you for 21 days, you don't want to have too many topics, too many goals. Limit the meeting to sort of, let's say, up to 3. Ensure that everyone is clear of those that you've transferred and that you decided that these are the 3 key goals from the action plan that you want to be tackling. You've obviously got you've got further sprints in the future that you can begin. You think that would be a good idea to tackle later on. And make sure, that all the people are present for these meetings. And be prepared to ask the question if the topic is really the core problem. Is it the key issue that we're tackling here? Because it might be that during this meeting you decide, actually, you've had 24 hours to sit on it. This key goal would be better to tackle right here and right now. It's a bigger priority than the other one you had envisaged during your action plan meeting. Okay. Check-in. Kind of typically we say it should be done on day 7. Minimum, but we actually do recommend having them daily. And again, it's sort of what do I know and what do I need to know to perform my best today. Check-in meetings also serve to help build trust and respect. Kind of minimum you have them on day 7, but yeah, I think opting to have them daily is always I'm a great advocate of that, especially with remote teams, because it helps you track the progress and so forth during the meeting. You can schedule them for 15 to 30 minutes. Kind of the focus is about connecting. You share the day's priority schedules and activities. And it just, it allows you to sort of give each other a pat on the back saying, well done, you're doing really well, you're making great progress. And the outcome kind of is information shared with everyone who needs to know, and strong bonds of trust to allow for it drives more commitment. That if you see someone really whacking it out the park, you feel obliged to do your fair part to ensure that you do reach that goal. And the goal is to feel like a winning team. And team members start looking forward to sharing something and seek out the wins throughout the week. Tips is kind of, if you're running them in the meeting, if you're running them as check-ins, kind of why not have them walking and talking? You don't necessarily need to be sitting down. Keep the routine of conducting these meetings, even if not everyone can be there, especially kind of in the world we're living in now. Try to keep them commit to that routine, and maybe allocate a little bit of extra time to manage any issues that may arise. So you've got a bit of buffer time, so up to 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, and it will avoid, let's say, the ping pong of emails or the pings of Slack, if you can resolve that during the meeting to enable people to have more focused work and be able to achieve a lot more in a lot less time. Okay, decision-making meeting. Typically, we would recommend that this is on day 14, where the focused team captain allows you can have a one-to-one with your team members, and it's really a case of just checking in. It's an advanced check-in really, where it becomes more apparent where if that person is actually pulling their weight or not. So it's a kind of the focus is on sort of commitment, whether they are fully committed. If they're not fully committed, why not? What can be changed? What resources need to be added? And it's just sort of the goal is really to resolve the short-term obstacles and challenges. And the outcome is that you have almost an immediate decisions are made in terms of how to resolve those problems, and it can give them. They then sort of realise they got another 7 days to really before the end of the sprint to make it happen. And by sharing and understanding information, it does ensure that everyone is still on the same page, and again, kind of prioritize. It's valuable time. So if there's something that really is bugging you that you feel you need advice on, make sure that comes out during this time. Really crucial meeting, and one that generally does help give more purpose and direction to the why we're aiming to hit this goal within this 21 days. And through this process, we talk a lot about sort of building psychological safety that gives that sense of belonging, that builds that trust and that commitment within the team, that helps onboard and retain and develop your talent. And within the widget, or within our app, we have actually a sort of the mic time monitor, the microphone time monitor, helps ensure that you are driving engagement. And by setting your goals, your not only your head goals but your heart and health goals, it helps drive more empathy. And that is what you ought to be doing as a focused team captain, is just trying to drive engagement and empathy in your teams, because high levels of these qualities ensure that you do get that psychological safety. And yes, and it also makes you hit them. So you share progress on all your goals, and it sort of, by sharing those goals, you become accountable, and you compound. Kind of when you start compounding these habits, you realise that actually you can achieve a hell of a lot more, both for yourself and as a team. It gives you that drive to hit your goals. This is a little bit more advanced in terms of how you might structure the different teams within your organisation. So kind of a tribe is a team of teams. I think kind of at this stage is probably too early, but I'll give you an overview really, is that kind of many highly productive organisations have instituted such a sort of tiered daily team structure, and it allows problems to escalate up the organisation. So the first team consisting of frontline workers begins and starts, let's say, their check-in very much at the very start of the day, and the next huddle consisting of supervisors follows 30 minutes later. And these supervisors meet 30 minutes after that, followed by directors and VPs, and the exec team finally sort of execute the problems. But the problems go up the structure. So problems are addressed at the lowest possible level. If decisions can't be reached, the issue is then escalated to the next level. And this system improves the linkage between the sort of C-suite and the front lines. It accelerates decision making, and perhaps most importantly of all, it improves the productivity by reducing the number of sort of scattershot emails and about a variety of issues. Kind of it helps address the matter when it's most required. And again, when you sort of create these team of teams, or this tribe, it's important to have a sort of, you take ownership of those teams. You can theme them by giving them a name. It's maybe a little bit quirky thing to do, but it does actually drive that sense of belonging. As I touched on earlier, it's the same things that what sport clubs do. Kind of, even if it's a logo, it provides that sense of community, which is a fundamental human need and prevents that sort of that fight flight urge from kicking in. And it's always good to be sort of, during this stage, kind of, this can be something you do in the decision-making meeting, or you can just be using the web app to continually be creating this feedback loop of rating the meetings, comment on the productivity of the meetings. And by capturing this data, it helps you become the Formula One. I think back in the intro workshop, I talked a little bit about kind of Formula One has 200 sensors in a Formula One car to sort of monitor, to ensure that every second counts both on and off the grid, to get that potential, that little extra advantage. Why aren't companies incorporating such systems in their meetings, despite so much time being spent in them? So all these data points really help to ensure that you are spending time wisely in your meeting culture. And this is really what we do with our training, and with when you onboard the product is, yes, you get access to the book, you have the online training, you get to utilize the tool, and then you actually begin really effectively engaging with one another as teams and executing the goals that really do matter. And by compounding these habits, you get to hit these ambitious goals. And we aim to sort of, our goal is to give you a 20% improvement in meeting performance and productivity. And what does that look like? Based simply on a saving of time, you're looking at a boost of something like €25,000 per year. But this doesn't take into consideration by actually creating a culture of accountability, of trust and respect, that magnetic culture within your organisation using this tool, the capability of retaining and developing and attracting talent is huge. It reduces the ping pong of emails and Slack notifications during your working day, so you can do more focused work, and you actually also start to address that balance in life to have a happier workforce. So I know this is just a simple calculation, but obviously the impact is a lot greater than just simply that calculation itself. And yes, just going back over to the overview, is you creating the focused teams with the right mindset, with the right ideology to the meetings. You commit to the routine and you conduct these 21-day sprints, and then you actually can score the performance and review progress using the product. And that obviously has huge impacts when we're talking about sort of managing remote workforces, that you can score progress and performance based on what information you're being fed through the system, rather than just sort of having a proximity bias by hearing from people who over lunch that you're seeing in the office. It enables you to address everyone in your organisation based on solely on performance and progress, rather than rather than adopting this proximity bias. So to sort of sum up, really, we've sort of looked at three tiers. So obviously, for your tribe, kind of the four key benefits for an engaged and focused tribe is you manage this balance between productivity and flexibility. You develop this magnetic culture in a hybrid or fully remote workforce. You optimize time and focus to increase profits, and you measure progress, not proximity. The key benefits, if you go looking at tier 2 for engaged and focused teams, is you build trust in those teams. You get a culture of accountability. Now, accountability is ownership, not consequences. You get to be focused on what matters, that drives greater purpose, and you drive high levels of engagement and empathy that builds in this psychological safety in teams, that again feeds into building more trust in teams. And the four benefits of engaged and focused talent: you get that sense of belonging, that commitment to the cause. They see that they're accomplishing goals through the power of accountability and transparency. That gives people a sense of purpose. You're working purposefully. That then also develops a balance in life, because you're continuing to be focused on what matters, and that you understand that you're managing people, and that, yes, there are needs for your people in and out of the office, or in and out of work, really, because you're not in the office now. So I'd like to sum up, really, and I think it's been great to take you through this journey, but as the late, great Steve Jobs stated, it's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. Are you investing it wisely in your current meeting culture? Might it be time to adapt and embrace these times we're living in? We would love to support you and work with you on this to ensure that, yes, we can you can develop a magnetic tribe despite not seeing everyone day to day. We look forward to connecting, communicating, collaborating with you. Thank you very much for your time. All the best. Bye-bye now.